come to find you are with me everywhere I go. All the steps that I took this far, I haven't done this on my own. You lead, I just follow. You make the time, I just borrow. Make her up tomorrow, so I just lift a hallelujah. Yeah, your praises on my lips, all the credit to you.
I've been getting my weight up, yeah. And eating this food for thought he keep filling my plate up, yeah. I had to let go of the old me, it felt like a breakup. He brought my face out to the world, I'm not talking about makeup. For real, now they can wake up. For real, it's the Holy Spirit, I can't help that. Learn how to put myself last, I can tell now that the first last. Cause the rap game give me jet lag, I'm exhausted. Seems like the world lost it. We sell our souls like a bargain. We don't even know how much it costed us. Man, feel like we under attack this season. Cause we ain't afraid to say Jesus. Only thing to stand on is faith. And we walking on it like Peter. I want everybody to get the message. This entire life is just testing. I was looking forward to a death with, but he built me up like Tetris. I still can't believe it. I made it. Not worried about how everything is new. I embrace it. When Jesus reaching out his hand to you, just take it. Watch how quick he show you what to do. Just praise him. Amazing.
Yeah, Lord, I've come to find you are with me everywhere I go. Every step that I took this far, I haven't done this on my own. You lead, I just follow. You make the time, I just borrow. Make her up tomorrow, so I'll just lift a hallelujah. Yeah, your praises on my lips, all the credit to you. Yeah,
I'm in a new
yeah.
element. Yeah. I look in the mirror, I don't even know how I'm standing here. I think of my old self and see it ain't no comparison. Yeah. All of the pain that I go through, but I still be bearing it. Cause God is the medicine. Yeah. How is it that no one else see the vision? How is it that no one paying attention? How is it that the world don't want to listen? Why are we so divided by religion? How can we keep getting locked up in the prison? How come all the police killing all the children? How come we so back and forth with our decisions? Why we sell our soul for a couple million? Yeah. We live in the devil's world. There's only one way that we survive it. Whoa, gotta trust in him, always got a chance for revival. Yo, search for him, he in every page of your Bible. Yeah, turn away from all the wicked ways of your idols. Be
Hey, no, I'm just kidding. But I'll be grooving. I'll be having to stop the music, but I'll be like over here just the bobbing and like, yeah, that sounds good. Good morning, atmosphere. How are you? I decided I won't back down. As you can see. So you know what? I say it. I follow the words of the great evangelist Bone Crusher. I ain't never scared. I hope you're having a good morning. I hope everyone is having a good morning. Whether you decide to chime in or whether you're just listening in, all are welcome and appreciated for stopping in. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I got time today. I'm off work. I'm well rested. I've had good rest for the last couple of days. Now I'm woke. And I guess after this, I'll be getting my day started because I've just been chilling. I think that in rest, we also, hey, James, in rest, we have to also learn to just chill sometimes. Sometimes people think they have to make something to do when they have nothing to do, if that makes any sense. I know people that just got to get out the house, got to leave the house. And I'm like, where are you going? I'm a person that can't leave my house without a destination. Like, because I know I'm going to get out there and I'm going to start riding. If I don't have somewhere I'm going, I'm going to turn a few corners, run out some gas, and then I'll be right back at home. So I'm real intentional with my trips, that I take in the car, especially when gas is like high. I'd rather put that money into household food. Shoot, because that's high too. Anyway, yeah, that's about how my day is going. Still awaiting the good news. That's you know what? I can't even say I'm frustrated. I'm very patient in this process because I know that eventually I'm going to get the answer I need, and then I'm going to have to do that 20-minute dance I said I was going to do before you guys, and it's going to be all good. Then I can be like MTV Cribs. I'm going to be in the kitchen like, yeah, welcome to my kitchen where all the magic goes down. Because, Koreans, they always talk about the bedroom. That's where you sleep. And then y'all business about no magic in my bedroom. The magic happens in the kitchen. What I be cooking up in the kitchen is the magic. So I'm like, yeah, I'm about to jump right in because I got some time, but I ain't got nothing to be sitting here just making small talk. Might as well get to it. I'm pretty sure everybody looking like, what in the throat work is going on here? Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about some throat work today. I ain't talking about gargling. I ain't talking about coughing, clearing your throat. I ain't talking about strep. We are talking about throat work. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't start off with at least defining the throat, or at least the most important things that I thought about the throat. I mean, I guess a full definition, but here it is. Never mind. Let me just go and quit trying to explain what don't need to be explained. Anywho, the throat is the passage from the mouth to the stomach or the lungs, including the pharynx, esophagus, the larynx, and the trachea. That's absolutely what our throat is made up of. And as I was doing this, I was like, man, I was just having so many revelations. It wasn't even funny. I'm like, when I first heard this title, throat work, immediately I'm like, I ain't doing that. Because automatically my mind just was like, nah, you can't do that. That's just too much. TEW, too much. But when I began to put together what I needed to put together, that's the only thing that made sense. It's like I automatically started to build off of throat work. So here I am letting my throat work. Oh God, I'm so silly. Interesting enough, the throat is made up of things that are very detrimental to our voice, our sound, but also life, the breath in our body. If your throat is constricted in the right way, you could absolutely lose life. The pharynx, it's what makes sure the air goes through your windpipe. It also makes sure that food passes into your stomach, and it helps you to speak. Then you have the larynx, commonly known as the voice box. And we know what a voice box is. It's where your sound comes from. It's used for breathing, swallowing, and talking. There's a part of the throat, the trachea, and that is known as our windpipe. And when I think of the windpipe, I started to think about when I say, as long as I have breath in my body, I will XYZ. As long as I have breath in my body, I will speak. And that's why I decided to go ahead and press play and talk using this topic. A lot of people will take that and, of course, we all know the man is going to go somewhere, but that's not where we're going. I say all this to say, if your throat didn't work, you have no voice or potentially no breath in your body. You can literally be shut up or out of here. If your throat is severely damaged. We know that in Proverbs 18:21, it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, which means the words you speak have the ability to build up and make successful people or situations, or destroy and kill the same thing. After this little surface study of the throat, I'd say that the gift of the ability to think, live, and speak is all connected to throat work. I say all this to say that we must open our mouth to speak. However, nothing would ever come out if it wasn't for that throat work. Hey, Gary, be safe riding. First thing that comes to mind when we start to talk about speaking, as it pertains to, church or, I guess in your religious sense, we're known to say, we'll speak things into existence. And I think we say that so loosely because we assume it's in the Bible, and technically it's not. Nowhere in the Bible will it say speak it into existence. But we've been basically trained to say speak things into existence. I know that some people have that belief that out of their own will they can speak things and it'll happen. But if that were definitely true, then we'd be walking around here speaking everything that we needed and wanted, and it will appear. Just in this little quick thought process I had when I realized, like, I say this, yeah, I believe in, speak things into existence. I understand the motivation of it, but technically, things that are in existence were created by God. I am not the creator of things that already exist. So the only thing I can speak into happening is by faith, and is granted by the grace of God. I mean, by faith, and is granted by the grace of God. So I'm not coming from the aspect of speaking things into existence, And I think that the next portion of speaking, people automatically go to the tongue thing, And if we look at what the tongue is, it is a muscular organ in your mouth that is used to taste, lick, swallow, and articulate our speech and our words. It's also known as our dialect, our native tongue, our style of speaking, or our language. So let's be clear, the mouth and the tongue are in close communication with the throat. It's like the throat work creates a network. And it's like, okay, we can say the power of life and death lies in the tongue, but does it not lie in the throat? Because if you don't have the thing about your throat working, the things about your throat working, it doesn't matter if you open your mouth or not. Without that voice box, there's no sound. Without that windpipe, there's no breath to even put out a word. So they all are collectively important, and they all are powerful. Those things that's what makes our voice so such a gift, I guess. Because I don't think that people even think about when we're speaking, when we're wasting words in many moments. One false move and you can lose that ability to speak. That's why I want to be more cautious with what I say, how I say it, when I say it, who I say it to, because it's like I'm not wasting such a gift. So just like I did the other day, I found scriptures that related to speaking. And I have my own, what it gave me when I read it. And I'm pretty sure that you guys will have your own understanding or interpretation or what you receive from it. So the first one, let me get on my thing because I'm going to read it, like I said, from the site that I find them. And then another version. And it's funny because with this one, you know how the other day when I was going through the scriptures, I was using the scripture that I found on the site, and then I was going to the Message as the other option. But on this one, I found that yeah, the Message was cool, but most of them had a a great I found a great understanding through I think it's the NES, New English New English Standard. Something like that. But let me get to it. I gotta pull up my notes, people. God, I ask that you continue to show me what I am supposed to say. Give me the words that I need in this moment so that I am doing exactly what you showed me earlier and that I'm not sidetracked or missing anything that I was revealed. So the first one is 1 Peter 3:10. And it reads, "For whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech." And I think this is the one when I realized, like, wait a minute. In the message, it said, "Whoever wants to embrace life and see the day fill up with good, here's what you do. Say nothing evil or hurtful." But I was really feeling New American Standard. It's the NAS. Yeah, my bad. "For the one who desires life to live and see good days must keep his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking deceit." What I got from this is what you say matters. It can shape your day, it can shape your year, or even your life. When we speak evil, we begin to bring people away from what's right. So there's a lot of times where I don't think people realize that speaking ill or foul is deceit. And when you're deceitful, there's no blessing that comes from that. I think like what I was saying, that Monday is my favorite day. And I was telling y'all, like, a lot of people put mouth on Monday, like, oh my God, I hate Monday. Monday is just doing this and Monday is doing that. Or I personally believe Monday's doing absolutely nothing. It's the things we're saying. And I think this spoke to that for me. Whatever you say about your day, if they say we could command our day, why would we get up and speak ill of a day? Why would we speak ill of any aspect of our life? So that's what I got from that. The next one was Colossians 4:6. "Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone." "Let your speech always be with grace, as though seasoned with salt, so that you will know how you should respond to each person." This for me says that what I say and how I say it matters. I look at the salt as being the excuse me, the way we speak, the tone in which we speak, the value of what we speak. Like, we don't have to be, I would say the salt is our wisdom. You know, how you speak to a person is the wisdom. And according to each person is what you need to say and how you need to say it. No matter how, mad a person makes you, we're not supposed to be putting them down or cutting them up in any kind of way. It doesn't take away the value of your words. A lot of people think that if you're wise in your speech and you're careful with your words towards your fellow brother or sisters, that it doesn't have the same value. They won't have the same understanding. But to me, the way you say things, as much taste and tact that you have in the words that you use to one another, you become more, they're more receptive of you. Have you ever said something to somebody that totally just made them mad, and you really feel like in your heart you didn't say anything wrong, but it was the seasoning. it was the seasoning that you placed upon those words when you used on that person. Everyone isn't built the same. Some people have tougher backs. Some people don't want to even take into consideration how it may make a person feel. But if you're trying to be effective in your speaking, then being gracious in your speaking. No, I don't think it's saying spare feelings. I think it's a way you speak to some people. You can yell at your child to the highest level of yelling, and you might scare them for a moment, but that child may still go. It's a way to speak to someone. I don't think you spare their feelings. It's a way to speak and make it effective. There's a way to speak and not have it be offensive, if that makes sense. Sparing someone's feelings, I think, would be leaving something out, omitting something because you don't want it to sting or hurt. They're just a way of doing something. We don't have to be rude or foul to make a point. And I feel like if we're not capable of speaking what needs to be spoken to that person in a fashion where they get it, then, maybe we should be quiet for a moment. Pray about it, think about it. Maybe it's not that we need to spare people's feelings. Maybe we need to make sure that we are actually using our words wisely, that we are actually taking into consideration what we're saying, where we're trying to go with what we're saying, what we want to achieve from it. Do you want the person to walk away without getting what you were saying, or do you want them to understand where you're coming from? So I don't think it's a matter of sparing feelings. I can tell you you're dead wrong without hurting your feelings. And you still might be in your feelings. I could have said it in the nicest way possible, but that's not my problem. So no, I don't think that's saying spare someone's feelings. I think it's saying use your words in a way that is effective to each person that you speak to. I can't say the exact same thing to every single person that I talk to, and they all just be like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Everybody doesn't have even the same understanding. I think that matters upon who you're speaking to. You know that person, so you know how you have to come to them. I think we all know someone that we have to speak a certain way to for them to get it. And that's not saying when you say speak a certain way, I don't always think that's a matter of, oh, let me be a little softer with him. No, it's just some people you have to talk to a certain way. Now, some people you might have to get a little rah rah with them, because that might be the only way they get it. But I just think that all in all, talk right. No, like talk right. So our next one will be Proverbs 15 and what's that? I can't read my own writing. Yeah, 15 and 28. The heart of the righteous weighs its answers, but the mouth of the wicked gushes evil. That kind of go with what I was just saying. Like you could speak to a person from a righteous space or a evil space. In this one, the heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours out evil things. So that definitely kind of goes to what I was just saying. If you're speaking from a righteous place, I don't think that the as it was saying, the salt of your words will be just so harmful, hurtful, bitter. I think that when you speak from a righteous place, a caring place, then from wisdom, those things will hit where they need to hit versus a person that just comes out with the tongue lashings. You got those people that try to tear you down no matter what, no matter how good you do, no matter how bad you do. They got something foul and crazy to say. We don't want to be that person. That's not what we want to do with our words at all, ever. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Let me get something. Okay. So I feel like what I also get out of this is people that only speak foul, wicked, and ill, they don't have a righteous bone in their body. So I think righteousness can also be measured by your words. Yeah, righteousness can also be measured by your words. And the next one we have is Matthew. No, Matthew 15 and 11. What goes into someone's mouth does not defile them. What comes out of the mouth is what defiles them. I'm not gonna read the message because I am not want to get trolled by atmosphere. In the New American Standard Bible, it says it's not what enters the mouth that defiles the man, but what proceeds out of the mouth that defiles the man. Defile means spoil, poison, corrupt. It's dishonor. What you speak can make you foul. And that's not, it's not, like you said, it was not what's, not some people be like, oh, if you partake in that, you're gonna do this. No, it's not what we're taking in, it's what's coming out. Although you take in certain things, that doesn't mean you have to spit out things that are not right. You have to, I would say, cipher through a thing or four. And you know what to speak, when to speak. Now, there you go. Got me writing. Hold on. I'm going to look it up in a second. So, in a nutshell, we want to make sure our words aren't corrupting anything, anyone, that they aren't dishonoring God first and foremost, but we don't want to dishonor ourselves, our loved ones, or anyone else. The things we speak should not be causing anything to be turned upside down, wrong, or whatever. Let me look that up real quick. At Seven, 24. Judge not according to the appearance. Don't be nitpickers. Use your head and heart to discern what is right, to test what is authentically right. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Okay. Are you saying that was the correlation of what we were talking about up there? Anywho, let me get back to this real quick because we almost through these scriptures. And like I said, these are ones that stood out to me. I'm pretty sure there's several scriptures in the Bible that speak about speaking in many different and a few other aspects in a sense. But I wanted to speak about speaking in our voice, not from a sense of speaking things into existence, but really, and not just there's life and death in the power of the tongue, but to how important our voice truly is. It's not that our voice isn't valuable, it's much needed, but there's a way that we should carry our voice. There's a way that we should use our voice. There are times that we should not use our voice at all. So I think that I just wanted to kind of touch on some of the things that would go with those things. Proverbs 26 and 20. Without wood, a fire goes. Is that the next one? Yeah. Without wood, a fire goes out. Without a gossip, a quarrel dies down. And this was one that across the board, it pretty much said the same. English Standard. For lack of wood, the fire goes out. And where there is no whisper, quarreling cease. Where King James, where no wood is, there's the fire goes out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth. Message: when you run out of wood, the fire goes out. When the gossip ends, the quarrel dies down. New American: for lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no whisper, contention quiets down. It didn't vary much through each version of the Bible, and that one really, really, really made me think about when we were was that yesterday? The day before, when we were talking about when we see a lot of conflict, especially here on YouTube, and you'll see either side saying, what's the end game? What's the end game? This right here in a nutshell says this is how you get to the end game. If you got a fire burning and you continue to throw wood in it, whether you're trying to prove a point or whether you're being the evil one, you're throwing wood into this fire. This thing is going to keep growing and keep going. If you really want it to stop and die down, then you just stop. You stop the quarrel, you stop the gossip, you stop the fighting. It's like no brainer. But I don't think that people really want that. I think that a lot of people enjoy the back and forth. A lot of people want to look up one day and wonder where did time go, and realize that a lot of their voice and valuable words were wasted in a senseless quarrel. Like I said, our voice is very valuable and it is a very powerful gift, a powerful tool. And it is my hope that we would, take today just to think about what if I didn't have a voice when we consider how we use it. What if something happened to a part of your throat and you couldn't talk no more? What if somebody cut your tongue out and you can't talk no more? These things are things we don't probably look at as it pertains to our speech and speaking in this world, in life, to other people. But when you look at it from that sense, what if for some reason your voice was taken? Then what would you have done with all the time that you had to say what you needed to say and you didn't? That could very well happen to any of us at any given moment, in a sense. Is anything worth the waste of good air when if you get your pharynx crushed, you could lose air, suffocate, lose life? Is there any waste of time and words that if something was to happen to your larynx and you lost the ability to speak? We have people right now that had damage to maybe a part of the throat and end up with one of those voice boxes, or anything can happen to us where we take for granted the ability to speak and the importance of our speech and the reason why we need to speak. Everyone has a purpose, but a lot of times I think people take for granted that they have a lot of time to serve that purpose. You know, I personally don't want to be out here talking about much or nothing that's going to serve no purpose. It's not going to add to my life, first and foremost, or anyone's around me. You know, a waste of words is simply that, a waste of words. I think I got one more. Yep, I got one more. The other part of the one with the where the tongue has power in life and death and tongue is Proverbs 20. Proverbs 21 is, I'm just going to read both of them. Proverbs 20 is the one that I wrote down though. Proverbs 20. From the fruit of their mouths, a person's stomach is filled. With the harvest of their lips, they are satisfied. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. From the fruit of man's mouth, this stomach is satisfied. He is satisfied by the yield of his lips. That's the wrong one. Words satisfy the mind as much as the fruit does the stomach. Good talk is gratifying as a good harvest. Good talk is gratifying as a good harvest. Good talk is gratifying as a good harvest. In a nutshell, talk right. We need to stop wasting our words with stuff that means nothing, stuff that isn't helpful, stuff that isn't causing us to grow as people, stuff that isn't um, causing us to produce, causing us to be producers, you know, as well as stop being consumers of just frivolous talking. It's time to talk right. There's wisdom in the use of our words, what we say, how we say it, when we say it. It's like, if you want to see a good harvest, speak right. Speaking ill never brings about anything good for us. A lot of people may be wondering why they're stagnant right now, and it may very well be the result of words spoken. Maybe wondering, why didn't this happen for me? I really thought this was going to be blah, blah, blah. I think we could talk ourselves out of some things. I think there's a blessing that comes from our speech, the way we speak, the way we talk, the way we not only talk about those things, but the way we talk to other people. There's a harvest that we reap from sowing good words. But a lot of times, most people are just out here just talking. It's like our voice is a trumpet. It carries a sound, and the sound is for someone. That's why what you say is important. There has to be a sound that comes from our mouth for the world. But we have to be wise with our tone, our pitch, and our melody of choice. Is it a benefit or a hindrance, or even a waste? Today, I recognize the purpose of the throat and the network it makes so powerful. It comes with the ability to build or destroy, uplift or tear down, open or close doors that are or were ultimately for you. So, in a nutshell, careful with your speech, not to be a person who is destroying versus creating life. If you truly believe words have power, then go to wisdom, go to prayer. Make sure that you are using your words properly. Make sure that you are being of encouragement and not of Satan. It's very easy. There's a very thin line between right speech and wrong speech. And that's just starting with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like before we even get to the speaking to others part, I think we need to learn how to speak well of ourselves. Because some people, we can have that thing where we have doubt and we'll start to speak against even our own selves. So if you are not even past speaking against yourself, you definitely can't really be much help to someone else. Now I know there are cases where we believe that, I mean, I can explain it to somebody else, but like I've said this. I could tell somebody else how to do it, but I have a problem executing. That's a problem for me. Because how can I tell you and you execute it, but then I say it to myself and I can't execute it? I feel like I shouldn't be expressing anything to another person that I can't execute myself. Period. It's like, it makes no sense at this point. As I begin to be more intentional with my words, and as I think more about when to speak and when to be quiet, I want everything that I say to have value. When I'm speaking in a serious sense, I'm not saying always be just so extra serious, because we also got to have fun and have light moments. But in times where we're trying to be of help, or we're entering into something important, or if there's a time when God himself tells you you need to say this, then you want to make sure you are being a good steward of your words, that you're not using them in a foul or malicious way, that you are speaking from a caring place in your heart and not out of frustration, because we know that speaking out of frustration can also be a problem. I think that one thing I can say for myself is I try not to speak out of frustration, because in frustration you can say the wrong things or have the wrong tone. But on the other side of that, my problem is when I try not to speak out of frustration, I go silent. And sometimes silence is good and sometimes it's not. I think in those moments, those are the moments where we need to be able to say, listen, I'm a little frustrated right now. Give me time to process and think. Give me a moment. Speaking in that sense, something simple as that is powerful. Because when you do it the opposite way, it blows up into something else that didn't have to be. When we think about speaking, I guess the biggest thing is about communication. We have to learn to communicate. Our voice is used for so many different things. Every day we need to use our voice for something. We don't walk into the store and be like, hey, where are your goddamn cigarettes? Hey, can you tell me where this is? We're kind to, a lot of times, to strangers, more kind than we are to the people we say we love. If we mind our words when we're in public or when we go to court, then we need to do that across the board. It's not turn on for this and turn off for that. I'm just going to be proper and right when I'm doing business. But other than that, I'm going to be foul and distasteful. Words have value. And if you don't know it before today, I hope that you know it now. I hope that you find your own understanding. This was me sharing what I came to the conclusion of about how the throat is set up, how it works, and what it contributes to the body, to our speaking, to our ability and capability to say words. breathe, or live. I wasn't, as soon as I'm like throat work, I ain't doing that. I first thought about that. But when I just looked up the word, I'm like, the throat is probably not thought about when it comes to our speech or speaking. But it's like the most important thing. One would automatically think, oh, without a tongue, you can't speak. You probably can't, but it's something before that allows you to speak even with your tongue. All I gotta do is open my mouth and the words come out. No, no, no. There's something that happens before that. When they come out your mouth. I think that might be one. Mm. The lips of fools bring them strife, and their mouths invite a beating. Let me look in the app I was using. The mouths of fools are their undoing, and their lips are a snare to their very lives. Mm-hmm. The words of a fool starts fights. Do him a favor and gag him. So you trying to say we got to beat people up for their words? A fool's lips bring strife, and his mouth calls for blows. But who's going to do the beating? Is that telling you to? Is that telling you to beat that person, or is that saying that there's a consequence from God from the words you choose? Could that be a potato moment? But I think that's a very true um, scripture. We see it all the time. We see it all the time. What you say can get you beat down. But I'm still going to go within the Bible. There, it's not talking about you go hit somebody that said something. But definitely watch what you say, because you can cause, there's a cause and reaction for there's a reaction for everything, cause and effect. The things you say, you can't be responsible for that person's reactions as a result of something you said. So, yeah, you can very well get the taste slapped out your mouth for the way you come across or something you say to someone. But you definitely have to watch what you say. That's why I was saying earlier, I think that how you say things, it comes with the salt of your words. You don't have to be offensive. You don't have to say something in a way that's going to cause a person to want to raise a hand at you. But people do it every day. People do it every day. I've seen people say stuff and I'll be thinking like, man, hey Marissa. I've seen people say some things and you be looking for the punch to come. And it all goes to words have power. Has the power to carry you far, has the power to get you knocked down. We are talking about speaking. And in the beginning, I was talking about um, throat, the work of the throat, where our voice is basically, it controls our voice. You know, a lot of people would think that your mouth is what speaks, or your tongue, but it's actually the parts of your throat that allow you to speak. You have your larynx, which is your voice box, and how they say there's death and life in the tongue. Well, there's also that in your throat, because if you get your throat crushed the right way, you may lose your ability to speak, or even your ability to breathe, which ultimately will take you up out of here. So it is like a network, you know. Yeah, I titled it Throat Work, you know how it goes. But it's like a network between your throat, your mouth, and your tongue. Your tongue is how you taste. It's how you or the thing says lick. How you taste things, lick things, and it's also part of your talking. But it's also described as your, you know, how you talk, your dialect, your native tongue, your personal language. It's so many, you know what I mean? Some things just aren't, it's like, oh yeah, you talk because you got a tongue. No, you talk actually because you have a throat. We're not talking about what no throat do. But technically, yeah, what it does, it provides your voice for you. It allows you to breathe, you know. So it's not just if your brain gets damaged, you can be out of here. If your heart is damaged, you can be out of here. If your lung is damaged, your throat, your throat is connected to your brain and your lungs. Like the body is an intricate thing. It's an intricate thing, and I don't think people take value in the design that God made us to be. He gave you the gift of a voice for a certain reason, but we take for granted those things, even by the things we put in our, oh God, in our system. I ain't even gonna say it like that. Things that can damage. You know, like we was making a joke the other day, and we are saying the lady on the commercial with the cigarette saying, you know, about the Surgeon General on the side of the pack. My mind is out the gut. It's not in the gutter. It's just some things just don't sound right coming out. So I'm I'm using what I'm practicing, what I'm preaching, and I'm refraining from saying some things. How about that? Hey, Burry, what up? Ain't seen you in a while, my friend. How you been? I mean, I seen you cross chat, but I ain't seen you here. Yeah. Gotta be wise with your speech. Shoot, your mouth can get you paid by a presentation, is what I mean. The way you present a thing can get you paid. Whether it's a business, a sale, if you're in the sales, your speech is important. Your words are important. What a person here may determine if you're taken serious. Just imagine if you're a person going around just with foolishness coming out your mouth all the time. Who's ever going to look and think, man, that person, I need to call them because they can be of value to me? No. And like really watch what you say and how you say it. There's a time and place for everything. Thank you. There's a time and place for everything. And some things just don't need to be said. You know, we need to stop saying stuff because we want to. I don't think people think before they speak anymore. Without thinking before we speak, you can't possibly interject wisdom. What was the word I was just looking for? I just had something else come to mind. I gotta get online, y'all. It's like sometimes the words are, I digress. Sometimes it don't call for us to say anything. You know what I mean? Proverbs 17:27. He who has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is a calm spirit. James 1:19. That was Proverbs 17:27. James 1:19. Therefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. That was the one that came to mind. Swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Listen. No, I'm just kidding. For the anger does not produce the righteousness of God. That's why you gotta watch your words. Can't speak on every single thing all the time. If you know something's gonna take you to 1,000 real quick, shh. It's like know when to shh. That's the word of the day. Shh. The soothing tongue is a tree of life, but the perverse tongue crushes the spirit. Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but by the prudent. But the prudent hold their tongue. I told you, there's a lot of scriptures you can look up that speaks to us and our words and our speaking, how we should speak, when we should speak. I think sometimes we have to say nothing because God say it all for us. Everybody wants to get the last word or the first word. Sometimes we got to listen so you can know exactly what to say. It doesn't count to have the first word if it don't carry weight or if you speak before or out of turn. Now what you said just falls on deaf ear or doesn't make sense at all. Hear first. I would like for us to stop wasting our words. Some of us say some of the best stuff, and that's good. That's good. I can't imagine Gary coming on here saying anything crazy using his words off. I would say hone in and cultivate your gift. If you feel like you have the if you're that person you think just has to say something about everything, then cultivate that. Learn to use it right so it's effective for you and anybody else that hears you. That's what it's about. What you present to those that have an ear to hear. If it has no meaning to it, then what's the use? If there's no reason behind it, what's the use? And it's very hard to do. We think we're supposed to talk just because we can half the time. And we also think that we have to, that having a voice, that's the only way you can stand up for yourself is to voice it. That can be true, but that can also be false. Sometimes people come to voice themselves as a protection, but end up more hurt because there's some cruel, wicked people out here. Imagine someone that has a story to tell and it's valuable and it could help somebody, but then you have a whole gang of people that come and tear you down You weren't strong as you thought when you got up there and started talking. Now you've been backed into a corner. Now you come out the same way. Our words ain't for everybody. Just because you have a story to tell don't mean you're supposed to get on every single soapbox and tell it. It's for people. But in seeking wisdom, you find out who those people are that need it. Because everybody don't. And it's always someone lurking. The enemy is always lurking to try to tear you down. Anything that you feel has value, then you guard it with your heart, right? Does that not include our words, the things we speak, the things we say? If you know what you have to say is valuable, you guard it with your heart and you make sure you move accordingly with wisdom. Speak when necessary. Other than that, just chop it up, have some good conversation. Who will go telling on the mountain looking? You talking about Gary? You're stupid. Yeah, but I think that's the end of my meat talk. I think I was a little flustered in the beginning, but it is well. I just need to learn how to write better so I can follow my notes better. And I was doing my good writing today. I really was. But I know I got something out of it. Like I said, I hope that something I said resonated with somebody. Or made you even think. If nothing else, hey, you learned what the throat is, how the throat works. It's there for you. It helps you to talk. It helps you to breathe. And it helps you to swallow. Let me quit. It helps you to swallow. Actually, a very important body part is what I really just came to the conclusion of. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's something you don't think about. You know what I'm saying? Who sits there and think about the function of your throat? I don't think nobody like literally thinks about that as it pertains to speaking, your voice, the breath in your body, your ability to take in nourishment. Your throat is powerful. Throat work, network. It's a network. Throat, mouth, tongue all go hand in hand. And we know your brain is just connected to all of that. Everything starts with your brain. There's certain things that if you get messed up in the brain, it'll affect you in your throat, in your right arm, your left arm, your eye. Everything is connected. Makes me want to look into more body parts. I will say that. We're gonna talk about feet in the next episode. The feet. Time is 11:30. Dang, it's early. Man. But yeah. Watch our words, okay? Watch our words. They are powerful. Next time you think about saying something crazy, think about a crushing of your throat. And then swallow them words. swallow them words. If they ain't for good, swallow them words. Everything don't need to be said. And just because you heard don't make you important. You got to think, who the heck listening anyway? Make it count, man. Make it count. I don't care if 121 or 81 hear me. I'm still trying to make it count. Even singers, they don't go around just singing. They protect their throat, especially before big performances. You'll see people saying, oh, they're resting their throat, they're drinking hot tea. They do things to preserve their voice, so when they have to use it, it's powerful and effective. The sound is right. It gives the expected what's the word I'm looking for? You get the expected results versus one that don't take care of their throat and their voice and go out on the floor at a big game and sing the national anthem and sound like they ain't been singing in 20 years, or like they've been singing every day all day and think, yeah, I'm a singer, I'm a singer, this is what I do. Can you imagine that? I'm a speaker, this is what I do. Just speaking without thinking? No sir, no ma'am. I need to know you know what you're talking about. Well, anyway, anybody got any questions? Because I'm hungry. And candy is not a good diet. And cookies. I need some meat. As in steak, chicken. Oh, man. Where Gary driving to anyway? I don't feel like Gary is always on the road. Says Wendy Williams has been diagnosed with dementia. That's sad. She's young. Man, that is a thing for somebody young to get, man. It don't make no sense. Anywho, I ain't gonna hold y'all long. I just wanted to make it through at least an hour. As always, I appreciate everyone that came through, chopped it up with me. Hope that I said something of encouragement or something that made you think. If it was something that you could use, great. If it wasn't and you know someone else that could use it, sharing is caring. You're more than welcome to hit the Cash App. That's not most important over here, but what is that you hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Tell a friend, bring a friend. Yeah, that's what's most important. I appreciate y'all's time today. Hey, y'all see I put my little logo up there. I took off the little StreamYard thing. I thought I was doing something. I thought I was doing something. She's a prime example of using your throat wrong. Yeah. In the end, shoot, remember that time she was talking that mess and Whitney Houston got her together? But you can't go on like that just because it's popular amongst people. Constantly tearing people down, constantly revealing stuff that they probably didn't want revealed and giving your 2 cents. And then, you know, I'm not saying that she's sick because of that, but I'm just saying those are things you can think about. You know what I'm saying? How have I lived? You know, what could be that lashing that we just read about, that atmosphere shared. What if that's a lashing? You know what I'm saying? What if your words, no, I ain't gonna take you up out of here, but I'm gonna cause you to do. People think that only the devil does things like this, but sometimes people are getting their consequences of their actions. And like I said, I'm not saying that's what happened to Wendy Williams, but I'm just saying sometimes we get the consequences of our actions, the things we say and the things we do. There's always consequences when you're not right. We just don't never know how it's going to come. You just never know how it's going to come. Some people, it may be, you think it's okay to say everything. Then all of a sudden you wake up one day, what if you didn't have a voice? That same voice that you didn't take value of. What if you wake up one day and you can't talk? Yeah, before I go, I had a incident where I can't remember what was going on at the time. Oh, it was when I was this is crazy. It was when I was trying to move from the one apartment I said gave me PTSD, when I was trying to move out of there and get another place. And I was going through the process of looking for a house because I'm like, I don't want to rent another apartment because my PTSD developed through that apartment. I got to find a house. But in the end, I started to think, like, if I get a house, I'm going to have to pay double versus, a smaller deposit. It'll be easier. But during that time, I'm like, I trust and believe I'm going to get a house. But it was like I wasn't really moving on it in a sense. So I had dozed off one day. I I don't know if I was dreaming or if I was like, how you be halfway woke or something. But at any rate, I think I was dreaming. I was having like a dream that wasn't quite right. It was like a little bit like I was under attack or something. And I was trying to open my mouth and speak, and I couldn't. Like physically, I could not open my mouth and talk. It was like when I have issues like that in my sleep, I'm quick to just the blood of Jesus, and you come out of it. But in this instance, I could not open my mouth. I found myself, mumbling, trying to get it out. And I started to think like, I'm saying it in my mind, but it's not coming out my mouth. And I was like, I was saying it so, I guess, with such fierceness, with, like in my mind, I'm like, the blood of Jesus. And then finally my mouth opens and it comes out. And when I tell y'all, you do not want your mouth to be shut up. And I honestly believe that happened to me because I started speaking crazy about what I was trying to do. I was going against how I said I believed. I wasn't saying the right thing. So therefore, I got a taste of not being able to open my mouth and not having the words that I wanted to say to come out. So what I'm saying is to say, you don't ever want to be shut up. Whether it's by God or the enemy, you don't want to be shut up. So use your voice wisely, in a nutshell. And that's the end of my time. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye now.